And so he has inflicted so much harm and done so much that even Trump don't want to talk about it. When the last time you heard about Elon?
Not much. You don't see him that much.
No, we ain't been hearing about him.
You think Trump is distancing himself from Elon Musk?
Because as soon as people started to look at his ratings, right, like he continues to have these failing ratings. So now they're like, oh, get rid of Elon. But let me tell you, the stench ain't getting off of you, Trump, honey. Like, you are a problem. He is a problem. Pete is a problem. All of y'all a problem. So,
Elon Musk just had a full-blown billionaire meltdown. And no, it wasn't about rockets or robots. Jimmy Kimmel and Jasmine Crockett tag-teamed him with more roast than a Texas BBQ, and the Twitter king couldn't handle the heat. From awkward tweets to public faceplants, this is the billionaire embarrassment you didn't know you needed today. Grab your popcorn, because watching Elon spiral has never been this hilarious. Trust us, you won't believe what triggered his latest ego implosion.
I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook, because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him, because he is a problem.
Elon Musk, the billionaire boy wonder who once dazzled the world with rockets, electric cars, and tweets that made investors faint, is now doing what every mega-rich tech bro eventually does, having a full-blown, midlife, public-facing, Wi-Fi-enabled meltdown. And not just any meltdown. This one's got late-night comedy, congressional sass, and more social media spiraling than your aunt discovering conspiracy memes on Facebook.
And then we have our bromander-in-chief, Elon Musk, who is reportedly planning to give $100 million to 2 Trump super PACs. And I'm sure the gift has nothing to do with the fact that Trump had a press conference to tell us about Tesla's low finance options. Has a quid ever been pro-quote more than this one? The guy in charge of government efficiency just spent $100 million to sell Trump a $90,000 car. Is that, I mean...
It all started when Jimmy Kimmel, that dangerous weapon of mass laughter, dared to do the unthinkable. He made a joke. Yes, a joke. About Elon Musk. Now, in normal human circles, this would warrant a chuckle, maybe a humble nod. But when you're Elon Musk, supreme commander of the I have no chill army, you respond to comedy like it's a nuclear strike.
We really don't know how much damage they're causing. Like, when I tell you that the level of incompetence is almost like incomprehensible, it is so bad. And when you bring up the idiot known as Elon Musk, he is not only like very sinister and has no idea of what he's doing, and people are like, oh no, he absolutely knows, because he's the richest man in the world. Like, yes, he knows how to hire smart people, but don't conflate that and believe that he is the genius, because he ain't.
The Kimmel bit was classic. Short, sharp, and just enough to knock Elon off whatever digital throne he's built himself on top of the ruins of Twitter. The joke, harmless to most, apparently landed like a SpaceX rocket without landing gear, and boy, did it ignite something. Right on cue, Elon took to his favorite playground of self-destruction, Twitter, formerly known as Relevant. He could have shrugged it off, laughed even, maybe even tweeted something witty in return, but no, that would require self-awareness.
My question is, Elon, what have you done? Besides tear us apart, besides be in over your head, besides make sure that you continue to enrich yourself so that not only you can continue to be the richest person in the world, but you can make sure that other people that are already struggling, unfortunately, end up falling on even harder times.
Instead, we got the cyber equivalent of flipping every table in a digital Olive Garden. Vague threats, meme responses, and a 3 a.m. post about how late-night television is dying, which is rich coming from someone whose entire platform is basically just late-stage MySpace with worse font choices. But just as Elon was dusting himself off from Kimmel's comedic love tap, in strutted Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Now, If Jimmy gave Elon a bruise, Crockett came in with a verbal sledgehammer, lit it on fire, and launched it from a Tesla Cybertruck driven by a raccoon on Red Bull. Jasmine Crockett, known for her no-nonsense, SaaS-first diplomacy, had a viral moment during a congressional hearing that just so happened to roast the idea of billionaire tech geniuses running anything besides their mouths. The timing? Impeccable. The delivery? Surgical. The internet? Obsessed. Of course, Elon interpreted this entirely rational criticism the way all tech CEOs do, by panic tweeting like a middle schooler who just got grounded. Suddenly, it was all about how the government hates innovation and how billionaires are the real oppressed class. Meanwhile, Crockett was probably sipping tea and watching her mentions blow up with memes of her stepping over Musk's digital carcass.
The whole country is a fire festival right now, and Elon Musk is soaking the mattresses. It is so much worse than I think anyone imagined it might be. Elon and his musketeers, you probably heard, they sent an email to all federal employees ordering them to list 5 things they did at work last week. Trump loved this idea. He said it was genius, and he said anyone who didn't respond to the email would be fired or semi-fired, which, what if that was his catchphrase on The Apprentice? Meatloaf?
Naturally, Elon's response wasn't one tweet. Oh no, this was a thread, a masterpiece of self-pity and misplaced rage, stitched together with enough copium to sedate a rhinoceros. He blamed the media. He blamed the government. He blamed the system. The only thing he didn't blame was the mirror. Now let's talk about why Elon is even roastable in the first place. Remember when he was the visionary genius who'd take us to Mars? Now he's the guy who renamed Twitter to X, like he's launching a low-budget energy drink. His legacy is a graveyard of half-finished ideas, broken promises, and enough lawsuits to make a mob boss sweat. Tesla, oh sure, still around. But let's not forget the fun stuff, like autopilot bugs that mistake the moon for a traffic light, or the stock dipping harder than Elon's credibility after his 15th conspiracy tweet. SpaceX ? Still firing rockets? Yes. But now it's more about vibes than viable science. Meanwhile, Starlink customers are out here using tinfoil as antenna upgrades, and Elon's pretending to be an intergalactic savior on a budget cut. But wait, there's more. X, the site formerly known as Twitter, has become a lawless wasteland of blue-check anarchy. Musk turned it into the equivalent of a frat party where everyone's allowed to talk, but no one's allowed to think. Advertisers are leaving faster than his fanboys can say free speech. And somehow, he thinks this is the future of communication.
We've heard a lot about the fact that Democrats have been talking about Elon Musk. And let me give you a news alert. We're not gonna stop talking about him. We're gonna keep talking about him until he is out of here. Now, if he wants to be elected or appointed and confirmed to something, then so be it. But as of right now, we have somebody that for whatever reason, I don't know if y'all just trying to play in our face because you think we're stupid, or if you literally just cannot see the difference in a George Soros and a Bill Gates. But
for Jimmy Kimmel, one joke clearly wasn't enough. In his next monologue, he doubles down with more Musk mockery, this time suggesting maybe Elon should consider therapy instead of threatening to launch a satellite every time someone hurts his feelings. Predictably, Elon reacts with the dignity of a cat tossed into a bathtub. And Crockett? She doesn't even break a sweat. As Elon flails, she moves on to bigger issues, like actual legislation. Her only contribution to the drama is liking a meme of her roasting Elon so hard, Tesla's stock dipped out of sympathy. It's the kind of passive dominance that doesn't even require a mic drop. It's just understood. The internet, as always, was watching with popcorn in hand. Within hours, the phrase, Elon ratioed again, was trending. Twitter users began compiling screenshots of Musk replying to parody accounts thinking they were real. It's like watching the world's richest man lose a slap fight to the ghost of satire. Meanwhile, celebrities and influencers joined the digital dunkathon. Some liked posts, others retweeted spicy memes. But the message was clear. Musk's comedy immunity has expired. Even his loyal fan base started using phrases like, he's not mad, he's just disappointed, which is code for, we're one tweet away from bailing.
I shared some of my thoughts and feelings about what happened and how much I'm going to miss democracy and whatnot. And I heard from a lot of people about it, but none more prominent than the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, who this morning tweeted, Kimmel is an insufferable nonsense propaganda puppet, which at least my children like me, you know, it's... Take issue with that. The guy who paid people $1 million a day to vote for Donald Trump is calling me a propaganda puppet.
At some point, Elon tried to pivot the conversation. He started tweeting about Mars again, probably thinking if he mentions space enough, we'll forget about how thoroughly he got roasted on Earth. Nice try, spaceman. But once the roast train starts, there's no flying away from it. What makes it worse is that Elon, despite all his wealth and power, has the emotional resilience of a wet sock. He frames every minor jab as a grand attack on free speech. Because, of course, in Elon's mind, he is free speech. Forget the Constitution. Just upload Elon's ego to the Library of Congress and be done with it. And let's talk about that hypocrisy for a second. Elon proudly screams about open dialogue, but starts blocking users the moment they ask if his Cybertruck can survive a pothole. He says he welcomes criticism, right before rage unfollowing journalists who dare to ask why Tesla roofs keep flying off during freeway drives. So what exactly triggered Elon's meltdown this time? A late-night host made a dad joke, and a congresswoman refused to treat him like royalty. That's it. That's the plot. The man who wants to colonize Mars can't handle being clowned by two people who know how to speak without deleting every third sentence mid-tweet. And it's not even like Jimmy or Jasmine were being cruel. They weren't staging full-scale takedowns. They were just holding up a mirror, and Elon, bless his fragile soul, decided to fight the mirror instead of fixing his hair.
Right? Do you remember this whole?
It wasn't with Elon. Elon, if you're watching, come through, boo, because you haven't shown up to the Doge subcommittee yet.
Right. And
In the aftermath, Elon did what all billionaires do, tried to rebrand the failure as a strategic pivot. He started tweeting inspirational quotes, launched a new podcast about freedom, and hinted at building a new media empire because nothing screams "I'm over it" like launching yet another failing venture to distract from the current one. Meanwhile, Kimmel continues making jokes, Crockett continues legislating, and Elon, he's probably still tweeting as you read this, possibly about how comedy is dead, or how Congress is controlled by lizard people, or how Jimmy Kimmel is part of the deep state. Honestly, it's a toss-up. But here's the real punchline. Elon Musk, once the poster boy for modern innovation, has become a living, breathing, meme-churning cautionary tale. He's not Iron Man. He's not even Tinfoil Man. He's the guy who bought Twitter, broke it, renamed it, and then cried when people noticed. And when a late-night comic and a fiery congresswoman expose the thin skin beneath the billionaire bravado, the world doesn't weep. It laughs. Loudly. Repeatedly. With GIFs. Because in a time when tech overlords think they're untouchable, it's oddly comforting to know that a single punchline can still bring them crashing back down to earth.
$1 million a day to vote for Donald Trump is calling me a propaganda puppet. Listen, Kermit, you bought Twitter. You bought a social media platform that is literally a propaganda machine. Let me tell you something. If I spent 2 weeks trying to come up with a 4-word description of Elon Musk, I don't think I could do better than insufferable nonsense propaganda puppet. This guy, the New York Times is propaganda, the Washington Post is propaganda, the Atlantic is propaganda, NPR is propaganda, AP stands for Associated Propaganda. Good one, Broseph. Everything is propaganda to Elon Musk, but what sucks for me...
So what's next for Elon? Another rebrand? A new app called Z? A Tesla-sponsored AI chatbot that only responds with no you? Whatever it is, you can bet he'll find a way to overhype it, underdeliver it, and then have a meltdown when people notice. And we'll be right here for it, with memes and popcorn and the undying knowledge that for all his billions, Elon Musk still can't survive a roast from a late-night host and a congresswoman who doesn't even have to try. If he's the future, let's hope someone keeps the receipt, because when you've got rockets, robots, and a raging ego, but still can't take a joke, you're not changing the world, you're just the punchline. And right now, Elon Musk is the funniest one of all. Kimmel, in his next monologue, looks like a kid on Christmas morning. Not because Santa came, but because Elon Musk handed him the comedy gift that keeps on glitching. With a smirk that could power a Tesla on smugness alone, Kimmel doubles down. And this time, he brings props. A fake Cybertruck steering wheel made of Play-Doh, a Mars passport stamped rejected, and a toy rocket labeled Musk's ego. The crowd? Absolutely feral. Elon, probably somewhere trying to trademark the phrase comedy genocide.
Unfortunately, the Republicans in the House have decided they don't really care. Whatever Elon wants to do, who cares that they got elected to office? They're going to collect their checks. They're going to take the congressional delegation trips around the world, and that's pretty much all they're going to do, and campaign for the next election through sitting through committees. But at the same time, we know that Elon Musk supposedly does not have any authority whatsoever, according to the White House, at least in their court filings.
And just when the roast seemed over, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett reappears. Not with a mic drop, but with the modern-day equivalent, a tweet, just one. Subtle, elegant, no names mentioned, no drama spelled out. But the shade? So dense it could block out a solar flare. Within minutes, it racks up more likes than Musk's last 12-hour rant thread about free speech, aliens, and how comedy is a psyop. Jasmine doesn't need to scream. She just presses send and watches the digital earth shift. Elon, predictably, does what any emotionally stable multi-billionaire would do. He rage unfollows both Kimmel and Crockett. You can almost hear the dramatic unfollow sound effect in his head. But here's the real kicker. Elon wants to be the main character of the internet. He craves it like Twitter craves functioning servers. He wants to be the guy, the legend, the Elon of every timeline. But the thing is, the internet only gives you main character energy when it's time to publicly roast you over a digital fire. And Musk, he's got the perfect recipe. 1 part oversized ego, 1 part bad tweet, and a generous sprinkle of accidentally ratioed by a congresswoman. Voila, main character status unlocked.
Americans are unproductive is this Twitter. Ironically, employees at Twitter right now have been working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week to meet deadlines established by their terrible new owner, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, tried to get out of this deal. He offered way too much for Twitter. And now I guess he's trying to get back as much of that $44 billion investment as he can, because they're working on something called paywall video. This would allow users to post videos and then charge other users to watch the videos, which is really a good idea. I was browsing through Instagram the other night, and I said, this is great, but I wish it wasn't so free.
For all the wrong reasons. It's poetic, really. Jimmy Kimmel, a late-night veteran, Jasmine Crockett, a political powerhouse. 2 people from completely different planets orbiting around the same dying star. Elon's credibility. And the result? An instant TKO. No rematch necessary. At this point, the internet is planning to send Elon a care package, a basket of tissues, expired Twitter Blue vouchers, and a crisp copy of How to Take a Joke for Dummies, annotated by Crockett herself. Maybe even a Mars-bound ticket with the note, "No return trip necessary." Rumor has it, Musk's next venture is a late-night show filmed on Mars. Just him, a Martian sock puppet co-host, and the faint sound of Kimmel's laughter echoing across space. Because really, the only thing Elon's launching into orbit these days is his last shred of dignity.